Okay, so here is another example of an actor that has strong features that we can take a look at. This is the actor Jason Isaacs. This is from the television show Awake. I took a few screen captures of it. So if we take a look at him, we do see those kinds of construction lines that we've been looking at. Now, once again, let me throw out cautionary tale, because it's a big mistake that I'm talking about, some of the pitfalls that we human beings fall into. And one of the pitfalls that we all often fall into is the confirmation bias, meaning that you select things that fit your theory rather than looking at everything. So, I've just selected two people that perfectly fit that theory. But what about everybody? What about, I've mentioned a couple of times, a young woman with softer features looks very different from this guy and from Al Pacino. So let me go ahead and just take this just a bit further, because this guy is very different, for instance, from this model. So I did start out this drawing with this abstract idea. It's a little gritty here because I had to increase the contrast once I took the scan of this image, really bring up the contrast so that you can see it clearly. Okay, so I did draw much more lightly than this, but I'm following these ideas. Okay, see this line here? Take a look at how important that is to me, to get the bottom of that cheek coming right into the mouth. And then we have the wrap around here, and take a look. See how that helps me treat the mouth as something that's part of a protruding form, rather than going, well, there's this thing and there's that thing and there's that thing and there's that thing. It's all part of one form. And then the eye, the circle, see how I'm treating the eye as a protruding sphere and how much that's helped me getting a sense of the geometry of the eye. And so that's really helping me in my final here, seeing the eye as a sphere, light coming in and wrapping around that sphere. Tremendously helpful. We can zoom in on that a little bit here. That line and that line. The sphere. The sphere. Treating the nose as a front plane and a side plane. And then this helps us kind of understand that this wraps back around this way. You can even draw another line, kind of like latitude and longitude on a globe, which I'll show you in the demo. In the demo, I actually draw a little globe and show you the similarity of latitude and longitude wrapping around a globe to describe form compared to the way that we're drawing here. Front plane, side plane, and then coming out again and wrapping around the structure of the head. So speaking of this line then, that is a line that doesn't often show up on young women with kind of full, soft features. But when you get a dimple, as you often do on those type of people, it tends to happen where those forms come together. So right in here, on the other side of that form, that's often where the dimple happens. And so let's take a look. My process here, you see that dimple right there? Let's go through my process where putting this construction down gives me the luxury and the confidence to go right into my drawing. I know where to put my marks. These marks are hard to erase. I'm working with dark compressed charcoal here, and I want to be aggressive and direct. We have that time limit after all, got to go for it. And so taking the time on the drawing lets me be direct now. So I put down those dark tones only in shadow, where they'll serve me. I find my hard and soft edges and my tones, and notice how I'm wrapping those tones around the form, around the form, around the form. That's what those lines help me with. And then I come back in with my pencil and my kneaded eraser. I'll show you these techniques when we get into demos. We are sticking with line drawing this week. we're doing construction only, but we need to understand what that construction is leading us to. We're not doing line drawing as a finished art form, but rather as a stepping stone to this, okay? So that's why I'm showing you this demo now. So I hope this shows how this idea of a Riley abstraction can be helpful, even on someone who is very different than someone who looks like this. So let's go back then through the process of what made that drawing work and talk about your homework. Your homework will be to do construction drawings like what we've just looked at. So let me give you an example, and I'll run through another demonstration here for you, just a step-by-step to show you exactly what I'm looking for in this week's homework. Your homework is to do drawings that look like this. So this is back to that model that we looked at earlier that we'll be using off and on for this class. So here's the drawings that led up to. He's a guy, with a lot of character, interesting guy to draw. And if you can find a really great model for your homework, that'll be fantastic. If you're drawing yourself, that's equally fantastic. But what I want you to do is go through a process like this. You'll find the simplest statement about the construction of the head and find the simple proportions. This is doable for all of you. All of you right now, you can find these simple proportions no problem, even if you're a beginner. Then you come in and put in some of these big shapes that help us organize the complexities of the head. And then you add a little bit more information to that, coming to a point where we'll call it a finished drawing. And this is exactly what your homework is. This is the finished product of your homework, to be committed line drawings like this. Now let me give you one specific about this, okay? It's going to be typical for you to do, as you sketch, you're going to try out a lot of lines. There's going to be 3 or 4 or 5 lines that you've tried out, that you've drawn lightly. But that does not complete the assignment. The assignment, to be completed properly, means you choose which is the right line. You do all of the quick sketch and loose sketch very lightly, and then for this assignment, and this assignment only, you come back to one committed line. Where is the edge of the head? Which of your quickly sketched in lines trying to find it is the right one? Where is the bottom of the nose? If you had, I know there's not really a line here on people, but if you had to say where does the cheek end and the jaw begin, what line do you commit to? Okay, I only wanted to see committed lines. That's part of the exercise and the discipline of doing this. Are you a little confused? Are you not completely sure you understand how to apply this Riley abstraction? No problem. Right now, we're going to go live and we're going to take you through some demonstrations, talking through and showing you live exactly how you can approach looking at your model and interpreting it with this kind of a construction line drawing. Okay, so good luck on your homework. Enjoy it. It's okay if you're frustrated by it. Let's go live now.